Welcome to yet another edition of SFLTV. It is Chino and Jules here with you, and we've got a cracking show here with you tonight as we get down to the business end of the SFL season.
That's right, Chino. It'll be a huge weekend, and we'll be covering all three divisions in the SFL and the under-19s.
Absolutely, Jules. So let's not waste any time. Let's get straight into it here on SFLTV, SFL Finals Week 3. You're on SFL TV with Chino and Jules. In Division 1, the Dingoes have bounced back to book a spot in the preliminary final after a bad loss in Week 1 to East Brighton. Can they get another win on the scoreboard? We're going to find out with their coach, Shane Morwood. Shane, thanks for joining us.
A pleasure.
Obviously, last weekend, the last quarter, a fantastic performance from your boys. Would you say that it was season-defining?
I think season defining might not be the right description of it, but I think from the group's perspective, I think we've just probably secured a bit more belief that the ability that the group has as such. I mean, I think they've had a great season to win 14 out of 18 games, home and away games, and I think it would have been disappointing to go out in straight sets because they're better than that. And the East Brighton game was very disappointing, but credit to East Brighton, they played the game hard and fair, and that probably got our guys offside a bit. And I think that first big game is probably a bit nervous for the guys. We've got a lot of young kids in the group, and I think to rebound like they did last week was credit to them. So season defining, I'm not too sure, but we'll find out this week and see how we go against St Paul's.
So you're down by 5 points at three-quarter time, and it's do or die in that last quarter. What did you say to your players at the last break?
Oh, look, just basically be relaxed and focus on the role that they've got to play within the group. I think we were a bit stagnant in that third quarter. We're in front at half-time by, I think, 11 points and playing quite well. But we just got to be stagnant, I think. We didn't move. And again, credit to Chelsea Heights. I thought they did a pretty good job in holding us up and trying to make it a little bit more tighter, I suppose. And then I just said to them, look, every opportunity, bring it back in the middle of the ground and run and take the game on. And they did that, and I think it might have taken, I don't know, maybe about 10 minutes to maybe kick that first goal. I think that first goal, the last quarter for both sides was so important. Obviously Chelsea Heights would have gone 10 or 11 points up, and for us it put us in the lead and just gives them a bit more confidence, and they got the job done. So it was a great effort to come back for 8 days beforehand against East Brighton like they had played. It's a credit to the group.
And you've lost to St Paul's twice this year, but only narrow margins, 12 points and 8 points. Yeah. You've got a classy midfield. What else gives you confidence that you can bridge that little gap?
I think both teams play a similar style of football. They've got some really good players, but I think we've developed and improved. And I think, as you said, the games have been 12 points and 8 points. We were 5 goals up late in the third quarter when we lost by 8 points. So we had great opportunities that day, and I think the guys are going with plenty of confidence. And I think the confidence will also come from winning last week as well. They'll much more relaxed this week. I think they won't worry about the nerves side of thing, and the pressure's on St Paul's this week, not us.
Shane, it's interesting you say that because St Paul's has come off a 1-point loss to East Brighton on the weekend. Do you think that your boys, what's your sense from training this week? Would you say that you're mentally prepared to back it up again? Because they're likely to come out firing.
Oh, definitely. We didn't do much tonight. We trained for about 45 minutes, I think, and that was about it. I mean, this time of the year you don't need to train much. We've been going since the middle of November last year, so the guys are ready for it, and they're relaxed tonight. It was a lot different to last Tuesday night. There was a bit of tension in the air, probably from me, after the previous performance. But no, they were good tonight, and it'll be a relaxed week. There'll be no pressure from me, and we'll train 45 minutes on Friday night, and that'll be it. Team meeting and ready to go. So. It's just mainly really deciding to settle on the 22 players that are going to play.
Luke James, the superstar from St Paul's, of course, the leading goal scorer in Division, or I should say leading goal kicker in Division 1. How do you stop him, firstly? And secondly, did you see that huge mark that he took over the weekend?
Yeah, well, stopping him would be difficult, but midfielders control the game. Whether the ball goes forward or goes back, and I think that the pressure that we need to apply on their midfield will dictate how the feed gets into to Luke. So either way, look, he's clever. I haven't stood next to him. He's probably 5'8", 5'10" maybe, but he's got great hands. He's a great kick. And he can take 2 steps and be on someone's shoulders like we saw on Saturday afternoon. So, and I had a great view of that. I was in the grandstand, so I was side on, and mate, he got up high. I tell you, he took 2 steps, and he had a guy behind him and a guy in front of him, and he just went on the shoulders of the guy in front of him and took a grab, and then lost control of it, and then was coming down with it and grabbed it again and stood up. It's perfect. It's beautiful. So. No, I think it's great for the competition to have somebody like that as well, so it brings the excitement back in the game. Let's hope they don't get too excited this week.
Will be something to watch, Luke, James, but also the Dingoes, to see whether they can overrun St Paul's next week. Shane, thank you very much for joining us, and best of luck for the rest of the season.
Thanks very much, guys.
As we turn our attention now to the seniors in Division 2, and it's an all-or-nothing affair, a do-or-die affair this weekend for Oakleigh as they look for a grand final berth. They take on Mordialloc. Once again, they defeated them by 8 points in the first round of the finals, and we welcome their captain, Paul Fermanis, into the studio. Paul, thanks for joining us tonight.
No worries. It's good to be here.
It's been a big season for you guys. Haven't been able to get over Bentley so far. What are your prospects up against Mordialloc this weekend?
Look, we're pretty confident, going into this week. Obviously, defeating them 3 times this year. We're the players, obviously we've got a couple that came back in last week. Hopefully myself this week. We're pretty confident we'll get over the line. If we stick to obviously our structures, our team plan, and just do what we've done over them the last 3 times. We did actually beat Bentley round 1, so we are they're 2-2 against us, we're 1 against them. So hopefully we get over Mordialloc and then level up at 2-2 for the year against Bentley next week.
Well, I was going to ask you what your plans were for the weekend. You obviously injured yourself in the match against Mordialloc. Do you think you're going to take the field?
Yeah, most certainly. We've got been speaking with the physio, and we've got a plan in place to get myself right for this Saturday. So it's looking good. Train tonight, so be going full ball Thursday.
Paul, what do you put your strong record against Mordialloc down to?
We've been, coming up against a side like Mordialloc, obviously a lot of good players. We try and obviously get blokes to have a roll with some of their key players. So, every time we've played them, they've done their job for the side, which has been very helpful. But then I guess, the last time we played them at their ground, it was obviously wet, so it suited our style of footy a bit scrappy. I really just reckon everyone's doing their role for the side, which made it easier to get over the line.
And I have to bring it up. There's a talk of a premiership curse at Oakleigh. We read in the media. Is that something that spurs your team on, or does it make you go into your shell?
Yeah, no. Look, we've had our chances. Obviously, last year was a huge opportunity, and obviously goals weren't kicked, but were meant to be kicked. But look, we'll worry about it if we make it this year. We'll be, we'll feel privileged and lucky enough to have another crack against Bentley, and hopefully we can get the job done. But we're going to get through Mordialloc first, but there's certainly no curse down there. Certainly no curse.
Well, we definitely hope that you'll be able to take the field and not the food. One man who has really taken a step up in this final series, Dave Villado, who's had a superb finals so far. Can he do it again 3 times in a row?
He's a freak. I'm sure he can. We need him. When he's on, and he's a man of few words. But he puts all his words into his footy, and he's made his, obviously last week I think he kicked 6, 3 in the first. So he's a really vital aspect to our side. And if he's up and going, well, I feel sorry for the bloke who's on him because they won't stop him. So we're pleased to have him obviously at the club this year. He's been as well as a lot of other guys, good asset to our club. Obviously losing a couple, but Vlado's one of the best players I've played with at Oakleigh. So.
Just a new segment we've got tonight. It's called Quick 5. So I'm just going to fire 5 quick questions at you, if that's all right.
You've got 60 seconds, Paul.
Beautiful.
Which of your teammates is most likely to Google himself?
Patrick Carrum.
Who is the coach's pet?
Paul Fermanis.
Nah, not me. I will say Don't know. It's a good question, actually.
Probably you then.
Nah, probably me. Same me. Nah, not really. But yeah, nah, I'm not too sure.
Okay. Who fancies himself the most among the ladies?
You won't like me saying this, but Scambers, Daniel Scamboloni. Don't know how to say his surname properly, but either him or Sully. Yeah. So Daniel Saldana.
Who's the last to leave the training track?
Will Lamarca and Johnny Cardamone.
And finally, who would be the most likely to enter into politics?
Matty Hackett.
So the
he's
big
a
agile
character.
man, definitely.
Yeah, he's a character. He's a very character.
Well, Paul, best of luck for your game against Mordialloc this weekend. Love watching you guys play, especially when you take the field. So all the best. And hope you can make it through to the grand final and pick Bentley at the post.
Thank you very much. Cheers.
In Division 3, the Doveton Eagles have soared into the grand final and looking to meet them this week. It's either going to be Carrum, Patterson Lakes or Dandenong. Joined in the studio, me and Jules, obviously, along with the senior captain from Carrum Patterson Lakes, Daniel Greaves. And from the Red Legs down at Dandenong, we welcome Ryan Forsyth. Boys, thanks for joining us on SFLTV tonight.
Thanks for having us.
Ryan, the Red Legs had a big win on the weekend, a tense, brutal physical game against Mount Waverley. How's the recovery been out of training this week?
Yeah, look, it was a big game, and like I'm only sort of new at the Red Leagues myself, second year down there, and we hadn't beat Mount at senior level until just a couple of rounds before the end of the season. So it was a big game, and we stuck through in the end. Look, it's been a quiet week. We were down at the pool last night, and then it was just a light, easy night on the track tonight. Bit of fun, but good vibe around the club though, so it's good.
Did you run out of legs in the end? Is that fair to say? I know you came away with it, but did you run out of legs?
No, not really. Look, most of our games this year we've come from behind, or sort of we get that pep up at three-quarter time and just seem to find another gear. So I think we sort of just do what we have to do without putting sides away or continuing on, on that streak. So we sort of a goal or two in front, but they just seemed to kick a goal straight away when we did. So it was only that goal a bit in front, but no, we were confident at the end, and look, we just held on, which was good. So.
On to your match, Daniel, and you also had a fade out at last quarter. You were trailing Doveton Eagles by 14 points at three-quarter time and then lost by 54. What happened in that last quarter?
Oh, look, mate, we just dropped our bundle a little bit. We were in the game for 3 quarters and we thought we were thereabouts, but they got away and they just got some cheap goals. And, it's not any excuses, but we just were a bit sore, I guess, and probably took the foot off the pedal, but we won't let that happen this week against
You can do it if you want.
Nah, we won't let that happen this week.
Some good banter between you guys, I see.
Yeah, well, I suppose we've had 3 games now already. They've all been close games, and they've been good games.
It's been good football. So, yeah, hope the same on the weekend, hopefully.
Now, Ryan, you've defeated Carrum Patterson Lakes a few times this season. Do you want to give Daniel a hand and just let us know about any key matchups that might be coming up on the weekend so they can go away and do their homework?
Oh, look, in all honesty, I think we're pretty consistent as a 22. Yes, every team is going to have their standout footballers, which, Carrum's the same. But I think we are pretty good all the way down to that 22nd player, which, in Division 3, a lot of clubs are. They're pretty steady across the board. Look, we have got, your Matty V's. I see you were straight to him last game. You can leave him alone if you want this week, and guys like that. But we are pretty consistent across the board, which is good. So I think that's a big key for us.
And down at Carrum?
What, our best players or no, these guys, they know. I'm not going to give too many secrets to go against these guys. The only one I'll probably drop in is that Daltsy, who's been injured, might be back this week, so that's going to be a big inclusion for us, hopefully.
If you can give him another week off if you want.
I think he's right to go. He looked sharp on the track tonight.
Did he?
He's jumping out of his skin, the blonde bombshell.
He'll be a big inclusion. He's kicked over 50 goals.
He's a good focal point. And it's no surprise to anyone in the comp. They know he's got good hands, and he always takes the best backman, which gives another guy an opportunity to try and get loose, I guess. And if he is back, we'll definitely be looking for him because he is our main man.
And one last question for the both of you: what's your preparation like before a final? Is it different to a normal home and away match?
On a personal note, for me, no, it's not. I'm pretty relaxed and pretty easy daisy, on a sort of Saturday morning, but I know for other guys, they get really excited and they're, changed before the twos are even out there. But for me, on a personal note, no. And I think that's a big thing in our first game against Carrum, the first final there. We've got a lot of younger kids that sort of didn't know what to expect come finals time. And it's still another game of football, but it's a lot more at stake this time. So it was good to get the win on the weekend, and, we'll sort of try and do the same as what we did on Sunday. So.
With us, mate, it's just about a routine, really. You don't want to change too much up. So we've had the same routine probably for the last, 6 games or so. A bit of music in the change rooms before, just to get everyone in a good mood and in the right direction, and then standard same warm up, and then out we go to play, and hopefully everyone will be ready to go from the first bounce.
Well, it's set to be a ripper this weekend. Couple of close ones already. This one's sure not to disappoint. Best of luck, boys, for the weekend.
Thank
Cheers,
you,
mate.
Thanks for that.
You're on SFLTV. As we have a look now at the under-19s in the studio, we welcome tonight Murrumbeena coach Ray Hargreaves, and from the mighty Skye Bombers, it's coach Craig Prestage.
That's the one.
That's the one. And both these teams are going to face off for the third time in 4 weeks. Who's taken the honours each of the time so far?
The mighty Skye.
As you said, the mighty Skye. But yeah, Skye's taken the honours so far, and all the other encounters have been really, really good. Great game, and hopefully this week's no different.
Now, Ray, you faced off in a heart-stopping match on the weekend.
Oh, yes.
Not too good. We need to get the meds out maybe this week. When the siren blew on Sunday,
Yes.
what was your feelings? Was it relief? Was it
It was.
elation?
It was. Thank God I finally won one. The boys. I was just so happy for the lads because I just sort of stepped in the last 5 weeks, and just wanted them to win one final. Just one, and then we can take the next one as it comes. And when I got that was all good. And I couldn't have gone much longer. I was a nervous wreck.
So what would have happened if you had to play some extra time?
Oh, they were overrun us. They came home like steam trains. They were just flying. I couldn't have any more players down there. My voice was gone. And we've got 18 players. The ground's a big ground, and they look at me and they go, "Can you move me?" I go, "What, from there to there?" So it was quite funny.
So Ray, you mentioned off air you've got an extra player coming in this week. Can you tell us who he is in front of Craig?
I actually know him as Eggy. Actually, his name is Eggy, and it's quite a long surname. But he's a good little footballer. He's an apprentice, and he had to work last Sunday. And he's a good kid, good young man, and he was so disappointed about having to work. And he says, "What's the chances of us winning? And do you reckon I'll get a game if we win?" I said, "Oh look, I reckon I'll squeeze you in." So he was very excited.
Well, you squeezed him in then at the right time.
Yeah, well that's it. I mean, if you're going to come home with a run, you might as well do it during the finals.
Yeah. With a 9:30 start, how do you kind of what do you tell your boys? Not go out the night before. It's a pretty early start.
I phrase it differently. You start.
You can appreciate their 17, 18, 19 and 20-year-olds who basically have a life as well. Trying to convince them to basically stay cool, calm, collective on the Friday night, which is very difficult. At Skye, we have I don't know whether you call it the embarrassment of having so many numbers. So basically I've got 42 players on the books, and I've got to each week, because there's a cap of 26, each week I've got to cap the players and basically get them in on selection night and just say, look, run water for this week and keep training and going through it. As Ray said, he's got one to choose from. I've got a cull like lots this week, and all due respect, but if we get through the next week, the grand final, the big one, a lot of the kids, it's probably going to be the last game of football, and we've got to actually got to sit back and tell a bare minimum, say 9 players that sorry you didn't make the grade. In the meantime, try and do the team thing, and it's pretty tough to do. Kid looks in your eyes, and they've been busting their boiler all year, and even the ones that have stayed off the alcohol and all that sort of stuff. So, but this time of the year, it's the pointy end of the season, so basically what we have to do is everyone's got to do the right thing, and they all seem to be doing it. They've been doing it the last couple of weeks. Wish they did it at the start of the year, but that's what you can do. So anyway.
Craig, a question for you initially. With the younger guys, also with them having won, I guess, the past 2 out of 3 matches that you've played against the Beena, is complacency an issue, and how do you keep that in check, with the young egos down there?
I hope it's an issue.
Well, that's actually a good point. In particular, training tonight, it was a little bit difficult to try and say, they have the impression that it's going to be an easy game. But instilling in their mind after we played Bentley last week, and we really got showed where we are, and so it seemed to lift the boys a little bit better. Towards the end of training, it was much better. Few of the senior guys grabbed it by the throat and said, "All right, this is what we're going to do," because at the end of this week on Thursday night, when I got to sit down and go, "I'm sorry, fella, but thanks very much, but can you run water for us this weekend?" And it's going to be heartbreaking for some of the kids. So, yeah. So, and complacency, yeah, yes and no.
Question I had for both of you. I'll start with you, Ray. What are the three most important things that you try to teach your younger players?
I've sort of changed a bit. I've mellowed as I've got a little bit older, but I like discipline. I like it hard and nice and tough, but I like discipline. And I don't want any sniping, and we've had that discussion. So I like that, and basically just give it what you got and play the cards as they fall. It's not being the end all sort of thing, but just try your best and see how you go.
And you, Craig?
I think what I try to instill in all the kids, not just a handful of them, is basically respect your opposition, respect the actual game itself, and basically respect your club and respect everybody else afterwards. We're there to play football. You want to go and wrestle, fight, whatever it is you want to do, go to a gym, go and do that. And basically, I've got a good bunch of kids with their heads on their shoulders. They're all pretty good, pretty strong. And it's also good to promote basically the league with all the under-19s coming through. So I'm part of the SFL under-19s committee. And it's actually great to go out on stage in front of everybody. And because we're with Division 1, it's actually fantastic that we do to get the exposure. But promote the kids. This is what it's like when the under-16s and that are finishing their football at the juniors to come up and have a look. It'll be a great opportunity this weekend to come and have a look and see a great game and hopefully see Murrumbeena run out of legs towards the end of the game.
They've been good games.
Yeah, they have been. They have, exactly right.
Played in a good,
fantastic.
Played in good spirit.
Yeah, my word. And we ourselves, well, only known Ray for a little while, but we've seemed to sort of have that, I might say bond, it might sound a little bit taggy, but it is. We get along all right, and he's the what we're after, and to encourage the kids, because we need the Southern Footy League clubs to grow. Instead of paying out money to get players, get your kids to come through, and it's a good encouragement and it's a good incentive to play football in the under-19s competition.
He's an old hand, so I've only been there for 5 weeks. 5 or 6 weeks, so I'm a new kid on the block.
Yeah, and he's doing a fantastic job, and that's from sort of an older hand. He's done a fantastic job.
Good stuff.
Yeah, it's good fun.
It's good.
Well, Sunday, 9:30, Murrumbeena take on Skye, head down at Springvale Reserve. Ray and Craig, thanks for joining us this evening on SFLTV.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
What a big show it's been. That brings us to the end of yet another episode of SFL TV. Let's look ahead at all the info you need for the coming weekend. Jules, we're going to start off with the James Bogue Sprint.
Yep, it's back this weekend, Chino, and there'll be 17 competitors take to the field at halftime of the Division 1 Senior Preliminary Final between Dingley and St Paul's at Springvale Reserve on Newcomen Road, Springvale. The grand final will be held on Sunday, 22nd September, with the prize, courtesy of James Bogue's draft, $1,000 to the grand final winning player and $500 to the winning club.
Now to the roadworks. This Sunday, the 15th of September, preliminary final day. Due to ongoing roadworks on and around Springvale Road throughout the SFL Final Series, access to Springvale Reserve via Newcomen Road will be limited. Please note entry onto Newcomen Road will not be possible from the Springvale Road entrance. In conjunction with Vic Roads and the City of Greater Dandenong, the SFL strongly advises all patrons to access Springvale Reserve via Stevenson Street or Whitworth Avenue, pictured on your screen, accessible from Springvale Road. In light of these roadworks, the SFL encourages all patrons visiting Springvale Reserve for SFL Division 1 finals to plan accordingly and to arrive early. And now some important information for Grand Final Day, being Sunday the 22nd of September, for all players and fans heading to Springvale Reserve. Please note that entry onto Newcomen Road will not be possible from the Springvale Road entrance. Please also note that the Springvale Road railway crossing will be blocked, and all the normal detours will apply as through all the other finals games. So remember, if you are lucky enough to head down to Springvale Reserve for the grand final festivities, make sure you leave early and allow plenty of time to arrive there safely.
For live scores, team lineups and updates on social media as well as pictures on Instagram, sfllive.com.au is your #1 destination. Register with SFL Live and go in the draw to win some great prizes. A footy pack containing 3-month membership to YMCA Monash Fitness Centre, a training t-shirt from Cougar, box of 6 gourmet pies from Ivan's Pies, a promotional Sharon football and beanie from James Bogue's Draft, a double movie pass, or a full-size leather Sharon football signed by AFL Multicultural Ambassadors. All corporate tickets to an upcoming A-League match or Australia vs New Zealand netball match, thanks to Elastoplast.
As I'm sure you all know, it is a busy weekend of footy in the SFL. It's preliminary final weekend and you're going to find the fixtures of all the matches on your screen right now. Now, if you don't manage to jot down all of the details, head to the SFL website for a full summary of all the matches on when and where they're going to be played. That brings us to the end of our edition of SFL TV. Next week, we'll preview the grand final, so make sure you don't miss it. From Chino and Jules, we hope you have a great one.